We're about ready to start our investigation. We choose to use simple scientific equipment such as a digital recorder or a digital camera. We are going to go in here and place this down. Within here we have two digital voice recorders. One will be in that hall and one will be in this room, hopefully to catch the voices of some entity or spirit that wishes to communicate with us. This is actually the old timers hall. To be considered part of the old timers, you either have to be married to or have worked here at the Union Station. This room has been subject to multiple paranormal events.
One time, I was up in the same room where you guys were tonight, and I heard a blood-curdling scream. I mean, this sounded like a woman was getting killed. And so I'm like, oh my heck. So I thought, okay, maybe it's the train's brakes squealing. There wasn't any trains outside. There was no activity down here, so I went down into the restaurant and asked if they heard it or if there was anybody down here, and they're like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm not going back upstairs now. And it took me 2 solid days before I would go back upstairs by myself. No way. I just like, That's the only time I've ever felt uncomfortable. You know, I've walked around here and felt like I've been being watched the whole time I'm in here, but never to the extent where I feel like I'm in danger or anything.
There have often been people here that have felt people walking next to them, people walking past them even, all sorts of different paranormal activity.
One night I'm upstairs cleaning up after a wedding and got everything cleaned up, turned all the lights out, and there's a stairwell that goes down into the Forest Service, and that's why I was going down the stairs, and I felt somebody nudge me on the shoulder. So I thought, oh man, my coworkers or something's here, so I turn around and there's nobody there. So I get halfway down the stairs and remember I forgot to lock a door. So I turn around to go back up the stairs and I feel a hand on my chest and it would not let me go back up the stairs. It's just like, pushing me. It's just like, no, you can't come up here no more. So I was like, okay, you guys lock the door for me and I'm out of here. So I asked my boss the next day, or I told her, I said, I forgot to lock such and such door. And she says, no, you didn't. I said, oh, yes, I did. She says, well, it was locked when I went up there last night or this morning. And I'm like, okay.
This hall is also known to harbor a ghost that has been seen by the janitorial staff. Down in that corner down there.
There was a guy named Travis that worked here about 6 months before I did. And he was the same thing, the night maintenance and everything. And he would go up in what we call the long dark hallway, right there before the Meyer Powell Gallery. He said he always seen a woman from the waist up wearing like something around the 1920s type outfit with a bonnet on and everything else. And he could hear her whisper, but he could never hear well enough to understand what she was saying. And he says that happened at least once or twice a week.
As we conduct our investigation here, we're going to leave our digital recorder and see what we possibly could capture within this hall. Hopefully we can possibly get something, maybe a response to a question, or maybe get someone to tell us who they are or maybe what they're doing here.
I was standing alone at the end of at the southernmost end of the art hall. We had just barely split off, and I was shooting down towards the end of the hall where the apparition has been seen recently. And as I was standing there, I hadn't been standing there more than 2 or 3 minutes, it sounded as though someone not walked across the floor, but sat down on one of the wooden benches. As soon as I heard that, I asked out loud, is anybody there? And as soon as I had done that, it sounded like someone got up off the bench and took maybe a step onto the wooden floor. It creaked. I continued asking other questions, like if there's anything they wanted to tell us, or standard questions. And I would say 5 minutes later, I started hearing a whisper like Carrie had described, kind of very low, not decipherable by any means, just like someone was.
Up until about 10 years ago, I did think you guys had to be out of your minds. You know, there's just no way. And I was down, I mean, my life was just almost in the toilet. I was committing thoughts of committing suicide and everything. And one day I was standing there in front of the mirror, and I felt a hand on my shoulder. Now there's nobody in my apartment with me. I turn and I see my grandmother, who had died 5 years before that. And she didn't say anything. She just put her hand on my shoulder and nodded like it's going to be okay. And ever since then, everything's just gone straight uphill from then. So I know there's somebody out there watching after me, so I know that the afterlife is very thin veil between us and them right now. So
Generally, there's not a bad feeling, but there is a feeling in certain places in this
A presence.
yeah, in the station that there is definitely something.